One of the most painful aspects of the normal job search is the lack of feedback and the lack of progress. If you send out your resume 50 times and you hear nothing back, that's not only going to kill your self-esteem, it's also going to affect your mental health negatively, maybe even make you depressed. The root of that hopelessness and maybe that depression is that you feel stuck. And the only way to get unstuck is to take action. And this idea that mood follows action and not the other way around is actually supported by neuroscience as well as famous observations on YouTube and social media by people like David Goggins. And that idea that mood follows action explains perfectly what is broken about the normal job search, in which there's very little meaningful action that's done. If you are stuck in that hole, if you feel stuck in that hole, at best, you're going to start feeling really desperate. And at worst, your mental health really will start to deteriorate. So the question is, what actions can we take to start to dig ourselves out of that hole? And the answer to that question is actually why I started this YouTube channel. So I want to provide a better job search strategy that helps rebuild confidence and actually lead to positive outcomes. And the way that we'll do that is through a job search strategy called the 100 March. So the 100 March is a process that I outline in my book, Giant of the Job Search, and it's going to be the foundation of this channel as well. The goal of the 100 March strategy is to flip the usual job search upside down. So instead of going online and applying for jobs, submitting resumes and submitting cover letters, which in reality does nothing but lead to desperation and hopelessness, we're going to focus on just one thing in this strategy, and that is talking to people and learning about their work. And every time you talk to someone, whether it's in person or on a video call or on the phone, we call that an informational interview. The informational interview is a low stakes but very intentional conversation in which you tell someone in advance that your goal is simply to learn from them and about their job. And you're making it very clear that you're not asking for a job. So really the key to a successful 100 March and a successful job search is just to string together a bunch of informational interviews. And I know that sounds comically simple, but I'm telling you, just focusing on that input works. There really are layers upon layers of benefits of just focusing on that one input being the informational interview and stringing those together. More important than getting a job really quickly is the process of learning and the process of building confidence that is inherent to the 100 March strategy. And it's the complete opposite of the spray and pray approach to a conventional job search. So why is it called the 100 March? The 100 March is the march to 100 informational interviews. And I know that seems like a crazy high number, and it is, and you're very realistically not going to have to get there. But focusing on that goal and telling yourself you're not allowed to quit until you get to that very defined quitting point will allow you to land a great job along the way. And we'll talk about the process for doing that later on. So does the 100 March actually help me get a job? Because learning and building confidence is great, but the reason I'm doing a job search is actually to find a job. The answer is yes, of course it does. But you can't focus on getting a job as your leading indicator. If you do, it'll lead to suboptimal outcomes. Instead, focus on stringing together and just getting a couple informational interviews to start as your leading indicator, and doing so, focusing on meeting people, learning about themselves, their work, and their industries will lead to a process of learning and of confidence, and it will lead to a job. And we will talk about the best ways to stay afloat financially during this 100 March process in later videos. So by focusing on learning and those informational interviews as the leading indicator, you're going to build skills, build knowledge, build confidence, and open doors that were not only closed to you before, but that you didn't even know existed. And by the time that you have actual job interviews, you're going to have a menu of attractive options in front of you. And that's a million times better than just going around and clicking that easy apply button on websites. So to recap, the suboptimal but conventional way to job search involves going online, submitting applications, resumes, and cover letters on websites like LinkedIn, Indeed, and Glassdoor. And trust me, I've done that, and it leads to nothing but feeling hopeless and often depressed. In fact, in the very next video, we're going to talk specifically about why the conventional job search leads to frustrating and suboptimal outcomes and random outcomes where you do not feel in control of your life. The more effective way to job search is the strategy called the 100 March, which is built on informational interviews in which you learn about people's work, job, industry, and themselves. And again, the purpose of these informational interviews is not to ask for a job, although if you follow the process, they will in fact lead to job interviews and eventually offers. So please like this video and subscribe to this channel where we're going to have many upcoming videos on how to start this process and even start from zero if you feel like you've already given up. See you soon.